Hi, I'm Ross Colonna. I'm here to talk to you about the Utility Annual Information Report, which is a necessary requirement for all utilities to file with us, the Comptroller's Office, to the Division of Local Government Finance. The Annual Information Report is required once every fiscal year prior to the start of the next fiscal year, which means that you have the entirety of the current fiscal year to fill it out using information that is provided from the last fiscal year. It's required for all utilities under the jurisdiction of the Water and Wastewater Financing Board and the Utility Management Review Board. The Annual Information Report is divided into 4 parts: basic utility information, contact information, service and customers, and governance and training. When you begin to fill out your annual information report, you'll be required to enter in your entity ID code. This code has been provided to all utilities by our office. If you don't know your entity ID number, please feel free to reach out to us using the contact information found in this video or on our website. So after you've put in your entity ID code and you've started your report, you're first going to find the basic utility information. First, you'll see the legal name of utility. You won't be able to edit this field. This field is pulling information from our database, and so it is just making sure that what you're filling it out for is the entity that you belong to. Next, we're going to need your office location. This isn't necessarily your mailing address because your mailing address might be something like a P.O. box. Instead, this is the physical location of your office in which we may have to send certified mail or have to visit your office location. We need to know physically where your office is at. The next 2 questions aren't for any regulatory purposes for the Water and Wastewater Financing Board or the Utility Management Review Board. These are merely for data collection points, so please answer them honestly. Has the utility filed its most recent budget with the Comptroller's Office within 15 days of adopting the budget? And has the utility filed its most recent audit with the Comptroller's Office within 6 months of the last fiscal year end? If you don't know the answer to those questions, please feel free to reach out to us and we can try to answer them for you. The next part of the Utility Annual Information Report is the contact information for this utility. In this, we'll need information for a contact person, the utility's email address, the utility mailing address, and the utility website. Please note on the utility website, there's a little tooltip there that'll make sure that whenever you put in your website information, it is in the correct format. You won't be able to proceed with the rest of the survey and continue to submit if you don't submit it in the correct format. The next portion of the Utility Annual Information Report is regarding utility service and customers. The first 3 questions are for any utility regardless of what kind of utility you offer. So, roughly how many years ago was the last rate study or cost of service study performed by a third party? Which Tennessee county has the largest amount of customers for this utility? And what counties do you serve? The first type of utility that we ask about is whether or not you offer drinking water as part of your utility. So if you answer yes, you're going to have to enter more information regarding your water utility. First, please record the first 2 values, which are how much water did the utility purchase or produce last fiscal year in millions of gallons, and how much water did the utility sell last fiscal year in millions of gallons. It is vital that these numbers are entered in millions of gallons. So for example, if you produce 50 million gallons of water in 1 year, you only have to enter 50 into that box. If you enter 75 million gallons of water a year, please put 75 in that box. The next 2 values can be pulled straight from your audited financials. What were the net water sales for the last fiscal year for the water utility? And what were the total operating expenses, including depreciation, for the last fiscal year for the water utility? So, we're just looking for the net water sales. We don't want any sort of discounts, any sort of contributions or anything, just the net water sales along with the total operating expenses, and it is vital that that includes the depreciation expense. The next 3 questions that we're looking for is for the average customer, what their bill would look like for 1,000, 3,000, and 5,000 gallons for the water. Please do not include any extra taxes or fees that might be included on the bill when filling out those numbers. The next question that we're asking for is, what is your water customer count? Please use the number that most accurately reflects the number of customers that you actually serve. We've been receiving a lot of questions about whether this counts for just connections or just for customers. Just do your best at estimating the actual number of the total amount of people that you actually serve. Do you purchase more than 50% of the water that you sell? If that is yes, you are required to send us a copy of the contract for the purchase of that water if a contract were to exist. So for example, if you're a water utility and you purchase 50% of your water or more from a neighboring utility, and there is a contract for that purchase of all of that water, you must provide a copy of that. However, if there is no contract and you're simply buying that water based on the gallons every month like a normal customer, there's no contract that you have to provide to our office. Next, we ask if there are any infrastructure connections to other utilities for the water utility, and then we ask for a brief description of those connections if any of those connections do exist. The last two questions have to do with wastewater and natural gas utilities. If your utility offers wastewater, we simply ask that you answer yes and tell us roughly how many wastewater customers there are in your system. The same for natural gas. If you offer natural gas as a utility, please enter the number that accurately reflects the number of customers that you serve in total. The last portion of this has to do with utility governance and training. The first question that we asked is, how is your utility governed? As you can see, there are several options there. Appointed board by local government, authority, board of mayor and aldermen, city council, county governing body, and a utility district board. One note that I have is if you are a utility district, please select utility district board instead of appointed board by local government. So last, based on your answer to the governing body type, you will then be asked for training compliance information regarding your utility. Should you have any questions regarding this portion, please feel free to reach out to our office as always. So last, once you scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, you will see Save Survey or Continue. If you hit Save Survey, you'll be able to revisit this survey later on and continue filling it out if there's information that you have to go and gather. When you press Continue, it will take you to a page to review all of the information that you have already provided to ensure that all of it is correct. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and should you have any questions regarding the annual information report or anything similar, feel free to reach out to our office using the contact information that can be found on our website. Thanks.